everyone. Today we're taking a deep dive into all things Cane Corso litter size.
Oh, yeah, this will be interesting.
I bet a lot of you listening are wondering how many puppies you can expect in a typical Cane Corso litter, right? We definitely were curious about that too.
Yeah.
So we did a ton of research.
Lots and lots.
And let me tell you, we found some fascinating stuff, including this one Cane Corso in Russia that had a record-breaking number of puppies.
It's true. There can be a surprising amount of variation in Cane Corso litter sizes. Like you said, the average is usually somewhere between 4 and 6 puppies. But that Russian Cane Corso
It's going to blow your mind.
gave birth to 19.
19 puppies. That's
Yeah.
like a whole classroom of Cane Corsos. So while the average gives us a starting point, obviously there are other factors that play a role in determining how many pups a Cane Corso mama will have.
Oh, absolutely. And one of the most significant factors is the mother's age. First-time moms, they often have smaller litters. Peak fertility for Cane Corsos is between 2 and 5 years old.
That makes sense. Timing is everything.
Pretty much.
What about genetics? Does that play a role in the size of the litter?
Genetics are key. Cane Corsos with diverse gene pools, meaning their parents come from distinct lineages, those dogs usually have larger litters.
Okay, so diverse genes, bigger litters. Why is that?
Well, a diverse gene pool, it reduces the chances of genetic disorders, right? And it contributes to stronger immune systems, which can both have an impact on litter size. On the other hand, inbreeding, where the parents are closely related,
That's got to be bad news.
that can lead to smaller litters and potentially increase the risk of health problems for the pups.
So genetic diversity is super important for healthy and larger litters. What other things can influence how many puppies a Cane Corso has?
The mother's overall health. A healthy mom is more likely to have a larger, healthier litter.
Right. Her body has to be in top shape to support multiple puppies.
Exactly.
We've covered age, genetics, the mom's health.
Mm-hmm.
What about diet?
Diet plays a big role too, just like with humans. What a pregnant Cane Corso eats impacts her health, you know? A nutritious diet, one rich in high-quality protein and healthy fats that can contribute to larger litters and, of course, healthier puppies.
So we're talking about giving those mama dogs the best possible nutrition to support their pregnancies.
Exactly. And there's one more factor that's important: breed size. Larger breeds like Cane Corsos, they naturally tend to have larger litters than the smaller breeds.
Okay, so if you're thinking about breeding Cane Corsos, it sounds like there's a lot to consider in terms of maximizing litter size.
For sure. But it's also really important to remember that even with the best planning, you can't completely control litter size. Nature always has the last say.
Right. So you can stack the deck in your favor. But
You never know for sure.
speaking of planning, let's talk about some practical steps for anyone who's considering breeding Cane Corsos.
Okay.
What are some things they should be doing to prepare for a litter?
Well, first of all, regular vet checkups throughout the pregnancy are absolutely crucial. The vet needs to monitor both the mother's and the puppy's health so you can catch any potential problems early on.
Regular vet visits, that's a must. And what about the mother's diet during pregnancy?
The mother needs to be on a high-quality diet that's formulated specifically for pregnant dogs. You're providing her with the nutrients she needs to support a healthy pregnancy, and that ensures her puppies get the best possible start in life.
Sounds like investing in top-notch nutrition during pregnancy is key. What about preparing a space for the birth and those first few weeks with the puppies?
Creating a comfortable and quiet whelping area for the mother, a dedicated space where she can give birth and care for her pups without distractions, that's really important.
A little puppy palace, basically.
Pretty much.
And, okay, this is important for anyone out there thinking about breeding Cane Corsos.
Yeah.
You need to be prepared for any litter size. You could end up with fewer puppies than expected, or, in some cases, way more.
Like our Russian Cane Corso friend.
Exactly. Nature always has the final say. Is there any way to get a more accurate idea of how many puppies are on the way before they arrive?
You can do an X-ray around day 45 of the pregnancy. That can give breeders a more precise puppy count.
So it's like a little sneak peek before the big day.
Exactly.
We've talked about litter size and all the things that can affect it.
Yeah.
But what about after those puppies are born? What's important for new Cane Corso owners to know about caring for a litter?
This is key. Regardless of the size of the litter, each puppy needs dedicated care and attention.
So it's not just about having enough food and space. It's about giving each puppy the individual attention it needs.
Exactly.
Okay.
And one of the most important things for new Cane Corso owners to remember is that puppies need to stay with their mother for at least 8 weeks after birth.
8 weeks. Why is that so important?
Those first 8 weeks with their mother and their litter mates are vital. The puppies are developing, they're learning crucial social skills from their mom and siblings, and that sets them up for a healthy, well-adjusted life.
So those early weeks are all about laying the foundation.
Pretty much.
One last thing about litters. Cane Corsos, they can technically have multiple litters per year.
Right. They can.
But responsible breeders, they know that's not the best approach.
Right. Responsible breeders prioritize the mother's health. They limit breeding to once a year or less, so the mom's body has time to fully recover between pregnancies.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Okay, so you mentioned this debate about working lines versus show lines in Cane Corsos.
Right.
Fill me in. What's that all about?
Well, it's a really interesting topic. It kind of highlights the different priorities within the Cane Corso breeding world.
Okay.
You see, traditionally, Cane Corsos, they were bred for very specific working roles. Guarding property, protecting livestock, things like that, even hunting.
So these are dogs bred for, like, their ability to do a job, not just how they look.
Exactly. And those are what we call working lions. They're selected for their temperament, how athletic they are, their ability to actually carry out those traditional jobs.
So where do show lines fit into all this?
Show lines, as the name implies, these dogs are bred primarily for conformation shows. So in those shows, dogs are judged based on how well they conform to the breed standard, emphasis on physical appearance, structure, all that.
So it's about looks, basically. Aesthetics. Meeting specific standards.
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay, so we've got these two different approaches to breeding. I can see how that could lead to some debate.
Oh, for sure.
What are the main things people disagree on?
Well, some breeders argue that if you focus only on show lines, it can lead to a decline in the dog's working ability.
Makes sense.
And potentially it could even lead to an increase in certain health problems.
So they're worried about the dogs losing those skills they were originally bred for.
Yeah.
And also maybe ending up with health issues because of, like, how they're being bred.
Exactly. The concern is that breeding for exaggerated physical traits, things that look good in the show ring,
Right.
that might end up compromising the dog's overall health and ability to function.
So you might have a dog that looks impressive, but can't actually do the things a Cane Corso was meant to do.
Right. And like I said, there are potential health concerns too. For example, breeding for a very short muzzle or excessive wrinkles, that can lead to breathing difficulties or skin problems.
So pushing certain traits to the extreme, it can have downsides. What about the breeders who focus on working lines? What's their take on all of this?
Well, they are really passionate about preserving the Cane Corso's original working temperament and abilities.
Okay.
They want dogs that are not only physically capable, but also have that drive, that intelligence to perform those traditional tasks. For them, those qualities are essential to the breed's identity.
So they want to keep the Cane Corso true to its roots as a working dog. Make sure it doesn't just become about looks.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. It's about finding that balance between looks and functionality, making sure the Cane Corso isn't just a pretty face,
Right.
but a capable, healthy dog.
It sounds like a really important debate, especially for people who are thinking about getting a Cane Corso.
Absolutely. Potential owners need to do their research. They need to find a reputable breeder, someone who aligns with their priorities. Whether they want a working companion, a show dog, or just a family pet, understanding those different breeding lines, that's crucial for making an informed decision.
So know what you want in a Cane Corso and find a breeder who shares those values. Okay, let's go back to litter size for a minute. What else is important for potential Cane Corso owners to understand about litters?
We've talked about the average litter size, 4 to 6 puppies, but the actual number, it can be very different.
And our friend in Russia, for example.
Exactly, 19 puppies. It's important to be prepared for anything, right? You might end up with a smaller litter than expected, or very rarely, a much larger one.
So flexibility is key when you're planning for a Cane Corso litter.
For sure. And the most important thing for any potential Cane Corso owner to remember, it's this. Each puppy, no matter what the litter size is, needs individualized care and attention. It's not just about making sure there's enough food and space. It's about recognizing that each puppy is unique with its own needs. Every puppy deserves that individual attention in order to thrive.
And those early weeks are so important for their development.
Absolutely. And that's why socialization is crucial, especially during those first few months, exposing your Cane Corso puppy to a variety of sights, sounds, people, other dogs.
Right.
But you got to do it in a safe and controlled way. That will help them develop into confident, well-adjusted dogs.
So it's all about positive experiences. Different situations, different environments from a young age.
Yeah, puppy classes, walks in the park, meeting friendly people and dogs. Expose them to as much as possible. Keep it safe, keep it positive. And just like with any other dog, Cane Corsos need training.
Mental stimulation.
They're smart dogs. They need to use their brains. Right. They thrive on having a job to do. Could be learning new tricks, participating in dog sports, anything that keeps their minds and bodies engaged.
And training is especially important with a breed like the Cane Corso, right?
Absolutely. Early and consistent training, that's vital to establish good manners and ensure that your Cane Corso grows into a well-behaved companion.
Okay.
And it's important to remember that these dogs, they were originally bred for guarding and protection.
Right.
So you need to channel those instincts in a positive direction through training.
Work with their natural instincts, not against them.
Exactly.
So training's essential. What else should people know about training Cane Corsos?
They're a powerful breed, so you have to use positive reinforcement methods. Harsh training techniques, they can be counterproductive. You might even damage the bond you have with your dog.
So focus on rewarding good behavior, not punishing bad behavior?
Exactly. Make training fun. Make it positive. For you and your dog. We've talked about socialization, basic obedience, but what about those guarding instincts we talked about earlier? How should owners approach those?
Yeah, those are a big part of what a Cane Corso is.
Right. And that's where training becomes even more important. You want to teach your Cane Corso to alert you to potential threats.
Okay.
But you also need to be able to control their response.
So you're setting boundaries,
Yeah,
letting them know when it's okay to bark and when it's time to chill out.
exactly. And remember, training, it's an ongoing process. You don't do it once and you're done.
Right.
Consistency and patience, those are key to success with any dog, especially with a breed like the Cane Corso. They're powerful, they're intelligent.
So training is about building that bond with your dog, that bond that's built on trust. Okay, we've covered a lot in this deep dive. Litter sizes, the working versus show lines thing, training. What are some final thoughts you want to leave our listeners with? Especially those people who are considering bringing a Cane Corso into their lives.
Owning a Cane Corso, it can be an amazing experience, but it's not for everyone. These dogs are intelligent, they're loyal, they're protective, but they also require a committed owner. Someone who's willing to put in the time, the effort to provide proper training, socialization, and care.
So it's about being realistic.
Mm-hmm.
They're amazing dogs, but they come with responsibilities.
Yeah, they're not just big teddy bears.
Right.
What are some things potential Cane Corso owners should really think about before they actually take the plunge?
Yeah, good question.
First thing, the most important thing, do your research.
Okay.
Learn as much as you can about the breed. The history, the temperament, what it takes to care for them. The more you know, the better. Knowledge is power when it comes to dog ownership.
Absolutely.
What else is important?
Finding a reputable breeder. That's essential.
Well, we talked about that earlier.
A good breeder is going to be incredibly knowledgeable about the breed. They're going to screen their breeding dogs for health issues, and they're going to provide ongoing support to their puppy buyers. So you're looking for a breeder who's really passionate about Cane Corsos and dedicated to producing healthy puppies.
Right. And they should be happy to answer your questions, guide you through the whole process of owning a Cane Corso.
So that relationship with the breeder is really important. Anything else?
Think about your lifestyle, your living situation. Cane Corsos are large dogs, active dogs. They need space.
So apartment living is probably not ideal.
Right. They do best when they have room to run and play. And they need physical and mental stimulation. Don't forget, these dogs were bred to work.
Right.
So they need outlets for that energy, that intelligence, daily walks, playtime, training sessions, maybe even dog sports.
Keep them busy.
Exactly. And those guarding instincts, you got to remember those. Potential owners need to understand that Cane Corsos are naturally protective. They're going to need training, socialization, to learn how to channel those instincts in a healthy way.
So watchful, but not overly aggressive.
Right. Owning a Cane Corso can be a truly rewarding experience, but it's a big responsibility. It's a decision that should be made carefully.
It's a journey.
It is. And if you're willing to put in the time, the effort, the commitment, a Cane Corso can bring so much joy into your life. But you need to go into it with realistic expectations and a commitment to providing them with the care, the training they need to thrive.
It's all about that commitment. Okay, we've explored a lot in this deep dive. Cane Corso litter sizes, working lines versus show lines, the importance of training, responsible ownership.
It's been a good conversation.
There's one more fascinating aspect of this breed we haven't touched on yet. The history.
Oh, yeah. The Cane Corso, it has a really rich, really captivating history going all the way back to ancient Rome.
And that's what we're going to explore in our next segment. We've learned so much about cane corsos, their litter sizes, the whole working lines versus show lines thing, the importance of training. But now let's rewind, go back in time.
Okay, yeah.
You mentioned that the cane corso has roots in ancient Rome.
They do.
Tell me more about that.
The Cane Corso's history is really fascinating. They're actually direct descendants of Roman war dogs, Canis pugnax. These dogs, they were fierce, used in battles, guarding Roman legions, even hunting large game. Really impressive lineage.
Wow, so they were literally bred for war. That's quite a legacy. How did they transition from battlefield warriors to the cane corsos we know today?
Well, as the Roman Empire declined, the Canis pugnax, it kind of transitioned into a more versatile role, on Italian farms. They guarded property, herded livestock, helped with hunting wild boar. They were like the ultimate all-around farmhand.
That's a big change, going from warriors to working companions.
Yeah.
What were some of the key traits that made them so valuable on those farms?
Their intelligence, their loyalty, that protective nature, those were paramount. These dogs were completely devoted to their families, absolutely fearless in defending their territory.
I can see why those qualities would be so important on a farm. But at some point, the cane corso almost went extinct.
Yeah.
What happened?
Their decline really started around the mid-20th century. Farming practices, they modernized, technology advanced, and the Cane Corso's traditional working roles, they just started to disappear.
So many working breeds have faced similar challenges. Their jobs became less common. But luckily, someone stepped in to save the cane corso.
They did.
Tell me about that.
In the 1970s, a group of Italian enthusiasts, they recognized how special this breed was, its historical significance, and they saw how quickly their numbers were dwindling.
Right.
So they made it their mission to revive the Cane Corso. They started carefully breeding the remaining dogs to ensure that those unique characteristics wouldn't be lost.
It sounds like they were rebuilding the breed piece by piece. That must have been an incredible challenge.
It was. These breeders, they were really dedicated. They focused on selecting dogs that exhibited the classic Cane Corso temperament, intelligence, working ability. They wanted to preserve the true essence of the breed.
And it sounds like their hard work paid off. The cane corso is thriving today, right?
It is. Their efforts were a success. The Cane Corso, it slowly gained recognition, first in Italy, then internationally.
Okay.
Its popularity just soared. And today, it's a beloved companion and working dog in many countries.
It's a great comeback story, from almost disappearing to being cherished all over the world. What advice would you give to someone who's, maybe fascinated by the cane corso's history and thinking about getting one?
Well, I think it's great to appreciate that history, but it's important to remember that Cane Corsos, they still need a job to do.
Right.
They need mental and physical stimulation, even if they're not working on a farm anymore.
So you can't just appreciate their past. You've got to give them something to do, something that taps into those instincts. What are some ways to do that?
Training is key. Obedience, agility, scent work, all of those activities, they challenge their minds and they strengthen the bond you share with your dog.
Makes sense. And as we talked about earlier, finding a good breeder, a breeder who really knows cane corsos and cares about their temperament and health, that's crucial.
Absolutely. A responsible breeder will be a great guide, help you understand the breed's unique needs, and help you figure out if a Cane Corso is right for your lifestyle.
Well, this deep dive has been incredible. We've covered so much: litter sizes, working and show lines, training, and this amazing journey through the cane corso's history. It's a remarkable breed.
They are. The Cane Corso, it really embodies the enduring power of that bond between humans and dogs.
That's a great way to put it.
From ancient battlefields to modern-day homes, they've stayed loyal, intelligent, and protective.
We've uncovered the heart of the cane corso, their loyalty, intelligence, and that capacity for love. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into the world of cane corsos. We hope you learned something new, and maybe it even sparked a little inspiration. Keep exploring, keep learning, and keep diving deep into the world around you.